Hi everyone, I'm Rosa and this is Oti, and welcome to my kitchen garden. There are many reasons why I wanted to start this kitchen garden, whether it's nutritionally, physically and mentally. But the main one for me is nutritionally. So I studied nutrition in university for 3 years. I have a degree in nutrition and I really like the idea of being able to grow what I want and control what goes into my cooking, literally from the seed right up until the plate. And there are loads of elements to the crops in this garden that I never knew were edible, like beetroot leaves or carrot leaves, which I've sort of started to incorporate into my dishes. I believe that eating with the seasons as well is really important because, first of all, it's good for the planet, it's sustainable, and actually if you eat seasonally, usually the nutritional value of the crops is higher. So it's a really, really good sort of incentive for me to start this kitchen garden, which is the nutritional point of view. So the second reason why I wanted to start this garden is it's really good exercise. So I've always been pretty rubbish at going to the gym and starting running. It's never really been my sort of thing. So I thought starting a kitchen garden like this is quite a lot of exercise, and trust me it is, because I've been lugging God knows how much manure into these raised beds, along with compost and garden waste and shoveling, raking, rotavating. It's been like a whole body workout. I know that won't happen every year because now it's a bit more established, it won't be as physical, but it's really good gentle exercise, and for me it's a perfect alternative as to going to the gym. The third reason why this kitchen garden is so important to me is that it helps me focus on my mental health. Luckily it's something I've never really struggled with, but I only work 9 until 12 every day, so I'm at home from 12 o'clock onwards most days, and it can get quite boring and I can get quite lethargic and quite tired, whereas I found just being out in the garden, tending to my plants, planting them, absorbing the vitamin D, it gives me so much serotonin and endorphins, and it's just fantastic. I honestly can say that I feel my happiest when I'm out here gardening, especially when my husband's out here gardening with me, which is quite a rare occurrence. My main goal with this YouTube channel is to inspire people to help grow their own kitchen garden, their own fruit and vegetables, whether it's in a plot this size, a plot twice the size, or even in a little patio area out in your back garden in a couple of pots. I did this for 2 years, and you can grow a huge amount of things literally in a few pots. So hopefully this channel will help inspire you to start growing your own vegetables, eating seasonally and getting as much nutrition as you can in the process. In bed number 1, I've planted beetroot and it's growing really well so far. I planted the seeds in about mid-April and I just sowed the seeds directly into the raised bed. I thinned the seeds out when they were a couple of inches tall, just so the beetroot wouldn't clump together too much and take each other's growing space. And it was only the other day when I actually harvested these beetroot properly, so some grow in like clumps of 2 or 3, and it's important to thin them out, otherwise they'll sort of both grow quite small. So you just pick the biggest one and the smaller one will grow out a bit bigger. So thinning them out last weekend was actually really great because I just roasted the beetroot quite lightly with a little bit of olive oil, a bit of salt and a little bit of balsamic, and it was beautiful. We served it alongside some fresh pizza. But with the leaves, I actually used the leaves to make a sort of substitute sagaloo paste, as I'd usually use spinach. Beetroot leaves are pretty much the same thing, like Swiss chard and spinach, so I just put them straight in a blender and blitz them up with some ginger, garlic and chilli, which is now in the fridge in a jar, ready to make a sagaloo. In amongst this beetroot, you might be able to see I've got some kale that I planted. The seeds haven't actually done too well, only actually 2 of the seeds turned into plants. I've planted some more since, but kale is really, really good because the more you cut it, the more it will come back, and it will keep growing through autumn, winter, spring, summer. So as long as you keep cutting it, it will keep on growing. So it's a really great filler plant for the garden. I also recently built these trellises just out of some sticks from across the road, and I've planted some French runner beans which are just starting to show their heads now. My beans that I planted out in May haven't done very well. I'm going to pull them up soon. So I thought I'll get some more in the ground, and hopefully this should provide a bit of height from the beds, which will make it look really nice. It will help the bed to have a higher yield of production, and we should get fruit now all through until September, which is really, really great. In bed number 2, I'm growing Savoy cabbages. I planted these from modules on May the 3rd to be precise. So in a month and a half, they have just gone mad. I do cover these with a greenhouse cover, which I will show in a later video. But I'd really recommend covering these because they're really prone to pests, but they've grown fantastically. I pick the outer leaves quite commonly, just roll them up really thinly, slice them thinly, and put them in the air fryer with a little bit of oil, salt and sugar, and it sort of tastes like the crispy shredded seaweeds that you get from a Chinese. So yeah, the cabbages are doing fantastically. I've planted some marigolds in amongst them to help repel pests, but also they look really pretty. And I've planted carrots in between, but they don't seem to have done so well. So next year I probably won't plant carrots in amongst the cabbages. But yes, that's what's growing in bed number 2. In bed number 3, I'm growing a combination of things, some of which aren't doing so well. So I've planted peas, which to be honest just look as though they're sort of dying. I have had quite a few peas off these, but recently, since we've had this really hot spell of weather, they just have keeled over and not produced many peas. So I think I'm going to pull them up soon and swap them for some more beans. I'll probably do that over the next couple of days. But in amongst here, I have some lettuce, which is growing really, really well. I'm going to pick some for my dinner tonight, so I can make a nice little salad. I've got some spinach that's not really doing so well, so again I'm going to pull that up and I think plant something else in the middle. So this bed isn't my best. It's probably the worst bed that I've got in the allotment, but I'm hoping to fix that this month, and I'm also hoping to get some nice winter vegetables in here. So I think I'm going to plant some fennel in it, which should look beautiful, and fennel needs a bed of its own, but again that's a video for another day. In this bed we have a huge amount of courgettes. I think I went a bit mad. I think I've got 9 courgette plants. Usually you can feed a family of 2 on about 2 courgette plants, so I think I will be providing for the village. But they're doing really well. The courgettes have started to fruit now. I'm going to use the flowers, slightly tempura them or stuff them, because the male flowers don't produce fruit, so I won't be wasting a whole courgette there. I'll update you next month on this bed because I've got a feeling it's going to be absolutely wild. In bed number 6, I believe we're on, I have quick heading broccoli, which isn't as quick as I thought it would be, but it is starting to have heads on it. One of them I've just spotted is covered in aphids, so I'm going to remove that, give it a good old rinse and see if I can still eat it. The leaves of this broccoli are all edible too, so I think I'm going to, like I do with the cabbage, just roll them up and shred them really finely and just air fry them with a bit of salt, a bit of oil, and hopefully it should be really, really delicious. I planted these out at the end of April. I planted these from seed, but I started the seed under cover, and then I transplanted them about midway through May. So this is the progress in just a month. I have been covering them with mesh because you get cabbage butterflies and all sorts of various pests, as they are brassicas. And so far so good. Only one of them has aphids on, so I'm just about to do that now before they spread and ruin all my broccolis, because I genuinely think I would cry if that happened. I'm halfway through this path. I haven't finished it yet. I'm planting creeping thyme in between the slabs, so hopefully next year you shouldn't see any soil, it should just be creeping thyme. But on to bed number sort of 7, sort of a bit into the courgette bed. Under this arch I'm going to grow a butternut squash that hopefully should climb all the way up this arch and have a beautiful display of squash plants. I've also got some pumpkins in here which should be ready hopefully in time for Halloween. They're just like little, more ornamental pumpkins. I think I am going to try and cook with them, but they're mainly just for the display, and I wasn't quite sure what to plant in here, so I just thought let's do some pumpkins. They'll grow in October, they should be ready, so it's just another producing crop just later on in the year after the summer period's over, and all the things that you can see right now will probably be pretty much over. Here, and something I'm really excited about, is my asparagus crowns. I planted these in May. I'm pretty sure I planted 10 asparagus crowns, and they started growing within 5 days. I got little asparagus spears popping up everywhere, but I've had to let them go to seed because you can't pick them in the first year or the second year. I think you've got to wait 3 years, otherwise you'll sort of ruin the crop for the next 20 years, which is how long asparagus will keep producing its spears for. But I have also planted a pretty rogue courgette in the middle of this, as I'm hoping this won't disrupt the crowns and I should just get more courgette, even though I shouldn't need any as I've got 9 other plants. But I think I was on a bit of a courgette whim, to be honest, when I planted that. So I just need to leave this bed. I'll keep it well watered and leave it for probably about 3 years now. And last but not least, and under this cover, are my aubergines, which have just started to flower. I would have liked to have planted more, but I couldn't get any more plants at the time, so I have actually sown some potatoes in with them. I'm not sure whether this will work or not. The potatoes might take over, I don't know, but I'll update you in a couple of months and see how we're doing. This kitchen garden is all about trial and error for me, so I'm sort of learning as I go along and sharing what works and what doesn't with you guys. So hopefully you don't have to have the same mistakes as what I've done, but it might work, you never know. The aubergine has just started flowering, so I should have a couple of nice plants on it soon. Fingers crossed. Thank you so much for watching my first ever YouTube video, the first ever tour of my kitchen garden, and hopefully it's provided you with some inspiration. I hope to provide some more tips on how to plant things, when to plant things and how to care for them, but they'll all come later. So if you'd love to subscribe, that would be fantastic for me, as I'm trying to do this for a living. So any subscriptions, likes, comments, everything just helps so much. So also, if you have any questions, just pop them in the comments and I will try my best to answer them. Thank you so much for watching, and please follow me for more. You a good girl?